So one thing that every business experiences, I do it myself here at Sage, the only one constant, and you hear that so many times about the fact that change is the only constant. And the other most important thing is it's inevitable. We will all experience a certain element of change in our business, whether that's macroeconomical, whether it's regulatory, whether it's statutory, and even and technology. With enterprise management, you've seen all of it. We talked a bit about what the potential impact on Brexit. We talked about making tax digital. There were a lot of other things that were going on that required system and process changes when you think about things like GDPR and data protection and those sort of elements. So those things will continue happening, and there's nothing that we can do to stop those changes. But the important thing is having an environment and a provider from a Sage perspective and partners who can be agile enough to potentially foresee what those changes are and then be able to adopt quite quickly to those forever changing environment to allow you to run your businesses. And some of those things are things that we can actually help with, but there are other things that happen in your specific businesses that won't have a specific solution that Sage provides. And that's where partners play a key role. That's where you, within your own businesses, understanding the application, but having the flexibility and the agility to actually perform changes, do updates, but doing it in a seamless manner. When you think about the rate of change, it's happening at a really fast pace. I read an article just over a month ago, which was while I was traveling, and it was in the South China Post, that said the technology changes that we will see in the next 5 years will be more than we've seen in the last 50. And you think about something like that, and you think about the technology changes that we've just seen even in the last 3 or 4 years with blockchain, and there's more around AI, and there's more around robotics and all of those different components. And if we've only seen that over the last 5 to 10 years, think about what we're expecting over the next 5 that will be more than what we've seen previously. That's really daunting for a business. How do you keep up with that change? How do you get notified in relation to what those technology shifts and changes are? And that's what we do very much, is having individuals in our organization that are already thinking about what does technology, what does the future of manufacturing and supply chain, and what will that have an impact, even accounting, what impact will that have on your business, and what impact will that have on our business to be able to provide the right solutions. So the key areas that we're seeing now that organizations are really looking at are these sort of very high level buckets. So the first one is around the users that you have within your businesses, but it's also about understanding the ecosystem. So it's not only your own employees, but it's your suppliers, it's your customers, it's your partners, it's other individuals and people that have an influence on your business. So providing a seamless way of integrating applications, having open APIs, having an open architecture is absolutely key going forward, because not one application will meet everybody's requirements across the world. And what you need to be able to do is have a best of breed approach where it makes sense. But where we can, we want to be able to make sure that that journey that you go through is as seamless as possible. So again, Rob, as you go through and start talking about, as Rob talks about some of the things we're doing from a roadmap perspective, talk a lot more detail around what are some of those technology and changes. Regulatory compliance and reporting. Over the last year, 2 years, we've had GDPR, we've had making tax digital. We have no idea what Brexit's going to bring. We have RTR, RTI, different things, different tax elements, and even making tax digital. What they said they were originally going to do is not what is being implemented at the end of March. So what does the subsequent phases mean? I was actually with HMRC a week ago, and they were already talking about what are they going to do next time around? What are they going to do around corporation tax? What are they going to do about the other components? So being able to be thought leaders in those areas and having the conversations with the policy makers gives us a good insight in relation to the types of changes that we need to apply to make life easier for you from a business perspective. Think about managing and optimizing operations, and that's operations within your business, but it's also about optimizing the entire ecosystem and supply chain. Easier said than done, because there's a lot of ways that the entire ecosystem and the way that we used to manufacture has completely changed. And the way that you actually procure and supply goods and services has completely changed. And again, it goes back to that change is inevitable, but we're seeing it every single day. But again, providing an application, providing a set of tools that allows you to be able to be agile, make those changes, and adapt to your own businesses quickly and efficiently so that you can actually take full advantage of those operations as they change. And then the final one is really about data governance, and being able to actually use the data and the information that you have as a key strategic advantage. When you think about reporting today, and Ian mentioned a few accountants in the room and FDs, you think about one of the problems with data is there's so much of it, but it's all historical in the majority of times when we look at information. And what that gives you is a good mechanism for understanding how things were, but it doesn't necessarily tell you how things are and what they will be in the future. So there's a lot more call for predictive analytics. How do I use the data to make future decisions around trends and those sort of components? So more and more optimizing data and using it for a competitive advantage is key. So again, you'll see a lot more around what are we doing around data analytics, predictive analytics, information that will really become an advantage to you as you think about how is your business going to change in the future. We can't do this on our own. And that's the reason why the partner network and the partner ecosystem becomes so important. Because they have leverage, they have solutions, they're coming up with, they have consulting, they have years of experience that we will never have. They don't have the reach. Even though I'm responsible for 600,000 customers in the UK, we're not going to be able to reach every single one of those customers. And this is a perfect example of how local partners and regional partners play a major part for us.